Hi there, everybody. It's Jenny Wright, your host with Marketing Mixtapes. And I'm really glad to welcome back Vanessa Cabrera, an email marketing specialist, who's going to give us a little sneak peek today into her session that she did for the Marketing Mixtapes, which is launching soon. Vanessa, thanks for coming back and welcome.
Thanks for having me back. What's going on?
Absolutely craziness.
I'm sure.
But it's fun. It's fun. So we're glad to have you back. Without giving away everything we talked about, and there was a lot of great things that you shared in our actual session, we're going to talk about how to talk about creating a really good opt-in that your tribe really, really wants to get. And we're going to stick to the theme, which was the name of your actual talk, which was Hit Me With Your Best Opt-in.
Yeah.
So I got a couple little questions I want to ask you, and we're going to give some really cool information. So
cool.
Once people get that new subscriber on their list and they see that little number tick up, right? And they see people joining in, and you all have to admit you check those numbers too, what is the biggest pitfalls that you see people making once they have that new subscriber on their list?
Yeah, so once someone has an opt-in, they get all excited and they started to see those numbers coming in, and they get those notices that, someone joined their list, and I get those all the time from my clients. They're like, it's working, yay, and I get it. It's really exciting when you start to see that list grow. There's a couple of pitfalls I see when they first start is, number one, either they just have one email sent to them and that's it, where they stop. So it's the typical just one email and they get their opt-in and that's it. That's one of the pitfalls where people, with automation now in play, they don't think about actually taking their clients on a journey with multiple emails. And I think that's what small businesses are really struggling with. And even when they do get that, when they understand that, they can have more than just your typical one welcome email, because that's really what it is, right? That they can have others set in place to go out, maybe one the next day or one the next week. They don't really know what to say in them. So one of the pitfalls is they stop at one email rather than stepping back and thinking of how they can really take their client on a journey to get to know them quicker. That's number one. And the other pitfall I see a lot is that they do have a funnel in place, right? But the very next email, they're trying to sell them already. They're already pitching them on their, program or consulting course or whatever it is that they're selling. And that doesn't work either, because they're just getting to know you, So they say in Sales 101, it takes anywhere between 6 to 8 interactions with a new client for them to actually buy. And it's no different online. So, if I am really interested in your opt-in, then you have to let me get to know you, get to read your opt-in, first of all, and then, stop trying to pitch me in the second email. You have to really nurture that relationship. So those are two major pitfalls I see people. Either they just stop at the first email, or they actually have a funnel in place and they're pitching them right off the bat in the second email. And that's just not with how smart the consumers are today. That's just not going to fly anymore.
Yeah. And then they wonder why they get unsubscribes or people actually don't purchase their product.
Right. They're like, it's not working. And then I go through their funnel and I'm like, you're pitching me already. So yeah, those are the two pitfalls I see.
Absolutely. So what lead magnets right now are you seeing that are working better than others? So there's tons of different kinds of lead magnets that you can create. Which ones are the ones that are really working right now?
Yeah, so we touched upon this a little bit in Hit Me With Your Best Opt-in. I went through several different lead magnets. One that I don't know if it's working necessarily, because it all depends on the content and the target market that you're actually going after and how good that opt-in is. That opt-in to me, and again, I'm going not to dive too into it, but it's got to be pretty valuable. But one of the big trends I'm seeing of opt-ins is quizzes. It's taking a quiz to see what type of brand you are, taking a quiz to see what type of coach you are, taking a quiz to see what type of business you are. And it's really a survey, right? It's like a mass survey for you to get more information from that potential, which I think is brilliant, but it's a really fun way for the potential to take this little mini quiz and see what the answers are to whatever they're looking for. So quizzes are super, super popular right now. And then what isn't working anymore is, and I said I talked about this a little bit, is, you know, the word newsletter. Like, I can't even stand that word. I can't even. But yeah, it's like the word newsletter, like saying join my email for my newsletter. Well, that's not even an opt-in, and that's not even an option anymore. So yeah.
Awesome. So one of the things that I'd love to know is a story from somebody that you've worked with where you went in, you either changed up, created, or something with their lead magnet, and they were able to see a change in their, you know, the amount of people signing up or the sales they were able to get in a substantial way. Is there something you could share with us?
Yeah. So I have several to share. I'm trying to think of a good one. So I did have a client who was I would say like a relationship coach. And when we first started working together, all she had was, you know, join my newsletter list on her website and only on her homepage. That was it. So when we got down to it and I really got to know her business, it turned out that she had 3 different target markets, or she focused on 3 different areas of one's life that she can help them better. And one was personal relationships, one was business, and I think something else was finance. I can't remember, but they were very different. And so we had to approach each target differently, right? So that was our first step. And so when I asked her, you know, what can you offer the person who's struggling with their life right now, their personal life, like someone going through a divorce? She was going after divorcees. And I'm like, okay, if that's your target market, what one thing can you help them answer with? And so she said that she already had like a quiz ready or a survey that she had them take. So I'm like, okay, great, let's start there. So that became her opt-in. And at the end of her funnel, when they got to know who she was, right? She wasn't pitching them for, you know, a session or anything like that down the way. She really was trying to help them and really let them know that she understood where they were coming from, going through a divorce and how emotional that is financially, you know, all that stuff. And then at the end of her funnel, she didn't pitch them. She offered them just like, you know, a free session, but I don't even like to call it a free session. It was just like, if you need to talk, you know, if you feel like, you know, I really connected with you, then feel free to, you know, schedule some time and I'd love to chat with you. So once we launched that, I'll never forget this. She called me and she's like, my, what was it? I think December calendar is completely booked with people wanting to talk to me. And she was just like, oh my gosh, this actually works. So it didn't result in sales right away. And I think that's another thing people forget, that they just think they have this opt-in and then at the end it's like a little money train. This takes time to develop. We're still human at the end of the day. But she not only touched upon them in her funnel, but then once they got her on the phone, that was it, because she gave great phone. She gave great phone, and she knew she was like, you get on the phone with her and you just feel better. Like, I'm like, you know, I'm like, okay, you don't need me anymore. She's like, no, but I still do. I'm like, no, you're good to go. But it was like breaking up, but I missed it because she was so good at what she did that I'm like, I just need to get people on the phone with her. That's it. That's like my only job. And since then, once you get on the phone with her, she's got a multiple of clients, and she's even got a waiting list of people wanting to work with her. And she never had that. So instead of chasing people, they're actually coming to her. And I think that's really what a lead magnet can do. And the purpose of it is like bringing the leads, you know, inbound. So that was one of my favorite clients working with her.
That's a touching story, actually.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Yeah. So I like that we're not chasing the people. So with the lead magnets and everything like that, with what people are trying to pull in, the important thing that we're trying to say, and again, you got to watch Vanessa's session because the full content in there is fantastic. She really lays it out. It's a very simple strategy, but it's one that once you start using, it's really going to make a difference. So if you haven't already, please register for Vanessa's session. And to see the rest of the experts on the marketing mixtapes, I want you to head on over to www.management.ca/mixtape and sign up so that you can catch Vanessa and all the other experts. Vanessa, thanks for taking the time. I really, really appreciate you spending some time with us today, giving us a bit of a sneak peek, sharing a little bit more information. That was fabulous.
Yeah, and I think they need to watch not only my session but everyone's session, but specifically mine, just to see what shirt I'm wearing. Because
Oh
I
yeah.
threw down with an 80s shirt. I brought it down with my 80s shirt. So they need to watch to see what band I'm actually wearing from the 80s.
Absolutely. They need to watch it so they can see that t-shirt. And I think I even show an 80s photo or something. So
Do you? Oh God,
I can't remember, but I think I did. Yeah.
yeah. Maybe that'll be like my opt-in, like, name an 80s shirt or take this quiz to see if you're like a diehard 80s fan, if they name my shirt or something.
There you go. That would be perfect. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Thank you, Vanessa, for being here. And we'll see you all soon.
Bye.
Bye.